Algebra 2, welcome back. We are going to put everything together today um, in dealing with ellipse, uh, the ellipses of this chapter. So, guys, go ahead and look at number 9 on page 619 for me. Number 9, please. It's the same instructions as yesterday. It says find the coordinates of the center, the foci, length, major, minor, which we used this sheet from yesterday, right? So I'm going to reference that at times. But the first thing we should notice is that this problem is not in standard form. It's written with all these things like we did last week. So what we have to do first is we have to first complete the square, yuck, and then we have to write it in standard form. So then once it's in standard form, then it becomes like problem 7 and 8, which I think we did yesterday. Which you can see right above number 9. So let's go ahead and get started. If you forgot how to complete the square, I'm going to rewrite this with my x values together and my y values together. I'm going to subtract that 52 over here. Okay, so I'm going to write 4x squared minus 32x. That's where the complete the square is going to go, right? All right, we're going to complete that blank in there. And then I'm going to say plus y squared minus 4y, and then I'm going to put a complete the square there as well, and I'm going to say it's equal to negative 52. Okay, so I've moved all of these things over like this. Now look at problem look at the x values. Do you see how that we have a greatest common factor between 4 and 32? We need to take that 4 out and rewrite this as x squared minus, 8x, and then we have the complete the square there. And then this one doesn't have a greatest common factor. I mean, it has a y, but we need to leave that y in there. It doesn't have a greatest common factor between the coefficients. So here we go. Okay, remember, complete the square. We take the b value, which is negative 8, and we have it, which is negative 4, and then we square it. Which is 16, right? So I'm going to add 16 here. And then over here, we have a negative 4. So we have that to get a negative 2, and we square that to get 4. Now remember, if we add 4 times 16 to the left and a 4 to the left, we have to do that over here as well. So 4 times 16 is plus 64, right? And then we have another plus 4 here as well. Remember, we can't just add numbers to one side of the equation without also doing it to this side. So, okay. Remember, guys, that we are completing the square because these are perfect and we can write them as perfect squares. I'll show you here with this first trinomial. I'll do it with this trinomial as well. Minus plus is minus minus. This is x, and factored, it's 4 and 4, right? 4 times 4 is 16, but negative 4 plus negative 4 is a negative 8. Over here, this should be, again, minus minus, because it's minus plus, and it's going to be 2 and 2, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and combine these. 64 minus 52 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. Okay, we're getting closer to putting it in standard form at least. All right, to putting it in standard form at least. So over here, this can become x minus 4 squared over nothing right now. We're going to leave that there. I shouldn't have wrote that in there. Don't forget I have a 4 here, and this is going to be y minus 2 squared equals 16. All right, so I will get to, I kind of jumped the gun with the over there. I will get to that in a second. If you look at this equation, it's close to what an ellipse is, or it could be an ellipse that's centered at 0, 0, right? Because these aren't over anything, not yet. But do you see how it equals 16? Okay, equaling 16 is not okay. It has to equal 1, right? We need this side to equal 1. So how do we get 16 to equal 1? Well, we could just divide by 16, right? We could divide by 16. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So this number, this coefficient is a 1, right? So what's 1 over 16? It's just 16. And this number goes over 16. What's 4 over 16 reduced to? It reduces to 1 over 4. Okay? So we're very close to putting it in standard form. Do I need a 1 timesing this binomial? The answer is no. So I should have an x minus 4 squared, which is this, over, remember, 16 over 4 over 16 reduced to 4 on the bottom, plus, I don't need that one either. I'll write this as y minus 2 squared over 16. And then this is also equal to 1, right? 16 divided by 16 was 1. So this, yikes, that gave us our standard form. Wow, we just changed that from standard to we changed it from standard sorry, we changed it from non-standard into standard form. Now, hopefully some of you guys are thinking like, well, wait a second, how do we know if this is a horizontal or a vertical ellipse? How do we know that the x is supposed to go first and the y is supposed to go second? So if you are thinking that, good job. If you're not, let's start thinking about that now. Okay? We don't know at this moment, well, maybe some of you do, but we don't know at this moment whether this is vertical or horizontal, and we will need to know that so we know which formulas to use and how to write our answer. So the one thing I want to bring your attention to is the numbers on bottom, 4 and 16, okay, because these are the ones that matter. Remember, one of them is a squared and one of them is b squared, depending on which one we're supposed to put first, okay? Now, a squared, well, actually just a, is the major axis, remember. So a always goes first, right? A is always the first number, and since it is dealing with the major, A better be bigger than B, right? Because if this was my ellipse, right, if it's vertical, the major would be here and the minor would be here. So A has to be bigger than B. 16 is bigger than 4. So this is a vertical. This is a vertical ellipse. We need to move this thing forward. We need to move this one to the back because that has to be the b squared. So I'm going to bring in a new sheet of paper here, and I'm going to write this equation again. I'm going to write y minus 2 squared over 16, right? Plus, and now it's this part, I'm going to put the x squared, or x behind it, x minus 4 squared over 4, and that's equal to 1. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this sheet, and I'm going to come into this one, because remember, as much of this work as we've done, our answer is not done because we haven't actually answered anything. It's asking for the center. It's asking for the foci, the lengths of the major and the minor axis, those types of things. So I'm going to use this sheet that we used yesterday. You know, kind of, I don't know what's the best way to do this, but we're going to start by looking for our center. We know we're using, maybe I'll do it this way. Watch this. Okay. All right, there we go. So we're using this formula because it's vertical, right? So h is this number back here. So h looks like it's 4, right? It's always opposite. K, it looks like it's 2. It looks like the center is 4. You can't see what I'm writing, sorry. So it looks like the center is 4 too, right? H was 4, K was 2. Next up, I want to do the axis. Remember that the major and minor are 2a and 2b, so this is a squared. 16 equals a squared, so what's a? A is 4, right? So if we say 4 times 2, it'll tell us how long the major axis is, and it looks like the major axis is 8. 4 is equal to b squared then, right? 4 is equal to b squared, which means that b is equal to 2, right? If we square root 4, and now the minor, we need to take b and multiply it by 2. So 2 times 2 gives us 4 again. The minor axis is 4. Right? This should be just what we've done yesterday, just a refresh from what we did last week, and what we're doing this week is how we're finishing. Now remember, we're going to find C. We need C to find our foci right here. We have to add it. It'll be this one, actually. But we'll use this formula. So I'm going to say C, get a different color. We're going to say C squared is equal to, what was A squared? 16 minus B squared, which is 4. So C squared equals 12, which means if we take the square root of 12, we will find C. Okay, guys, I have about, and this is rounded, about 3.5-ish, right? I'm rounding that answer for C. All right, and we will use that to find the last part of this problem, which is the foci. And we're using this one here. So we're going to say H. We have 2 foci points. Okay. The first one is just H, which was 4. So we're going to say 4, comma, K plus C. So 2 plus 3.5, which is about 5.5, right? And then the second point will be H, which is still 4, right? H. 4, comma, now it's going to be K minus C. K minus C. And so that's going to be 2 minus 3.5, which is, what is that, about negative 1.5? Yes, I think that's about it. Ish. All right. Oh, I can't see those answers either. So there's our foci points. If you have any questions, please let me know. I know this is kind of tricky. From what we did last week and what we did yesterday. I do want you to try a couple of problems, but if you have questions, please let me know, and I will try to help you guys out. Let's see, guys. The homework I want you to try is page 620, and I want you to do numbers 29 and 31, please. All right, good luck.